Well, first off, I want to say thank you to Dave. Once again, a lifelong friend. But I also want to thank each and every one of you guys that come here today. When I first started this about 4 or 5 days ago, I started trying to practice what I would say to people when people started asking me questions. And I found myself getting really flustered because I was trying to come off like I was a politician. And then I realized that for me to be successful in this, I've got to be true to myself. I'm not a politician. I'm just a person, I'm a citizen who is sickened at the things that I see. I'm a citizen, I'm a soldier. I've spent years away from my wife and my children in other countries cleaning up their backyards. And these are countries that burn our flag. And every time I come home to this nation, I find my backyard progressively worse. There's lots of issues facing this country. I believe that lifetime politicians are going to be the death of all of us. I really do. Amen. But it breaks my heart when I come back to this place. It's supposed to be the greatest nation in the world, and we see poverty that is absolutely unlike we could ever imagine. I've seen places here in this area that are just as bad, if not worse, than areas in Afghanistan and in Iraq and even in Haiti. And that's why I've chose to throw my hat into the ring. Because I believe that something has to be done. We can sit back and we can continue to go in the path that we're going. If anybody out there can look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am better off now than I was 10 years ago. If you feel that you're better off now, then you continue voting the way that you've been voting, because obviously it works well for you. But for everybody else out there, the coal miner, I know, is not better off. I know that the teacher is not better off. I know that the veterans who just had their retirement and their medical benefits cut are not better off. And I know that the person right now that's out there working 40 hours a week that has to eke out their way from payday to payday is not better off. And that's got to change. Now, I will tell you that I have a promise to each and every one of you all. And that is that I am no politician, but I will surround myself with intelligence. Every great leader, especially in the United States military, surrounds themselves with intelligence. When it comes to coal, I'm not a coal miner. I've never been a coal miner. But I will not make a decision concerning coal without surrounding myself with coal miners. People who have worked, they're given their lives to that industry. I will surround myself with company owners that run those companies to support their families. That's who I will surround myself with. I will not make decisions without first talking to them, so that when I do make that decision concerning coal, they feel comfortable that that decision is going to best take care of them and their families. And I think that that's extremely important. And I will do that for everything. I'm not a politician. I haven't lived in Washington, D.C. But I will surround myself with people who will be willing to go out there and learn everything that we can, so that we will make the best decisions. And just like the military, if the decisions aren't the right decisions, then I will get rid of everyone and start again until I make sure we get it right. I will hold myself accountable to the people. I will make sure that I do everything in my power to produce a product every quarter about what I'm doing, so that you all will know exactly what I'm doing. I don't plan on going up there and living in Washington, D.C., but I know that I'll have to spend some time up there. I will make sure that you guys know what I'm doing every day, because I believe that we need to be accountable to the people that place us there. And I think that that's something that we have not had in a long, long time. All right? People have told me that I have to be a millionaire to win this race. I don't think so. It doesn't cost nothing to win a race. All I need to have is votes. I don't need money to win this race. But it's going to take people to get up and to get out and vote. Right now, this area here, people will tell you all the time, I don't vote because there's nobody worth voting for. It's all the same. Well, guess what? We can continue to sit and go down this path. Or we can get up and we can try to change it. And the only way we can change it is at the polls. I don't believe in an armed revolution, but I believe we are ready for a revolution that will take place at the polls. People need to get up, they need to get out, they need to vote. And they need to do this at all levels. Nobody should be allowed to go unopposed. I don't care what level it is. If it's local dog catcher, somebody needs to run against them to make sure that they know that they always have to do what is right, and they have to do what best supports the people that place them there. Because if they don't, they will be replaced. So what I want to do, I want to kind of mention a couple things here. Number one, we recently started our first Facebook page, Ojeda for Congress, and for all of you who don't know, please go to Ojeda for Congress and click the like page. and then you can follow us on Facebook. But something that was really strange to me, it was really a breath of fresh air, was we received over 1,000 likes on this page before the first person said, "Are you a Republican or are you a Democrat?" And that was a ray of hope right there. Because that says that people are liking the page without looking at the R and the D. As Dave said, 9%, well, no, Dave spoke about the other piece, but 9%, a poll recently done, 9% of the people approve Congress. 9% approval rate. There's a wonder why people aren't really looking at the D and the R anymore. Because all they want to do is find somebody that can make a change. And I believe that I'm that person. I believe that I can do that for this area here. I personally have people that are working on this team right now that are Republicans and that are Democrats. Because right now they're focused on just trying to find somebody that can do something for this area. And we deserve that. Everyone knows I recently retired from the United States Army. I was selected for promotion to Lieutenant Colonel, but I chose to move my family, build my retirement home here, where I was raised, so that my children can grow up in the same place and enjoy the things I enjoyed. And unfortunately, I've realized that that's not the way to be. You know, I could have stayed in the United States Army. I could have stayed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and went back to work as a civilian contractor, but I chose to come back here. And it breaks my heart knowing that I'm watching it all fall down around me. And it's important for people to start stepping up and getting involved. I'm just going to kind of speak about a few of the areas, and then I want to go ahead and let you guys just ask me questions. I want to let you guys know how I feel about coal. I'm very pro-coal. Okay? Coal has absolutely ran this area. Coal is what has allowed people to provide for their families for as long as there have been people living in this area, and there have been these people coming here, the industry and things like that. It's always been coal for us. But the failure that has occurred with our government is that nobody thought to prepare themselves for what happens when coal runs out. Now, we still have plenty of coal in these mountains, and we can still keep people working. I want to see every single coal operation up and running. I want to make sure every coal company is ensuring the safety of those miners so that each and every one of them will be allowed to come out of that mine and go home to their family. My grandfather did not. He was crushed and killed in the mines. I want to make sure that every coal corporation out there protects the promises that they make to those coal miners to go into those mines, and make sure that their retirement and their medical is taken care of and nothing can touch it. That's what I expect. Now, as far as the environment goes, I expect for those coal companies to take care of the environment and to do everything they can to make sure that they are not poisoning the water. But I also know that our coal industry is unfairly being targeted right now by Washington. And it bothers me that we have leaders in this country that are willing to sit and stand and say, I will bankrupt the industry. I will regulate them out of business. I think that is unacceptable. If you want to get rid of coal, then you should do so wisely. And what needs to happen is for every coal job you get rid of, you create another job so that coal miner can make the transition from A to B and continue supporting his family. This is something that can be done over a period of 20 years. And we can bring industry into this area. That's the big failure. Is that right now, if we shut down the coal industry, we have nothing else for these people to do. A young high school kid graduates from high school, and what does he have? Right now, he doesn't want to go into the coal industry because it is under attack. The United States military is getting ready to walk out of Afghanistan, and we need to. But when we do, our military will shrink. So a person can't join the military. What do we have in our area? We've got fast food. But you don't have an easy chance of getting a job at fast food, because fast food companies right now are being employed by elderly people, grandparents. And they're working at fast food places so that they can pay for and support their grandchildren, because their children are addicted to drugs. So drugs is another big issue. 90% of the crime that occurs in this area is drug related, but we have no rehabilitation services. There are so many different things that we are lacking in these areas. And that's why I'm getting involved, because I believe that we have leaders that should have thought about these things. And it seems like nobody does. I'm not throwing stones at Congressman Ray Hall, But I believe that every time he speaks, he says exactly what we all want to hear. But the problem is that there's no action to the words. And we have to figure out how to put action to the words. And that's a promise of mine. My short-term goal is going to be, if I am elected, to build a team that can help put action to those words. And my long-term goals will be to address the lack of industry in these places. We can build cars, we can work manufacturing hubs. But we should also be bringing rehabilitation to these areas here. You cannot arrest a person and get them off addiction. You've got to heal those people. Then we have to be allowed to, we have to help them to be able to be brought back into society and accepted and allowed to become productive members of society. We have to practice what we preach, and we have to show forgiveness to these people once they are clean. And we've got to help them get back on track so that one day they can go ahead and take back that role of responsibility as the head of the family and reintroduce themselves to their children and be able to give their parents a break so their parents don't have to work at Wendy's and McDonald's anymore, because now they're back in charge. And those are the things that have to happen, that have not happened in a long, long time. So win or lose, I'm going to tell you, I'm willing to fight this fight because somebody has to. And we have to fight it at all levels of government. We deserve better. I also retired from the military and went to work in the education system. I was approved for a JROTC program, and 2 weeks later the funding was pulled because of the issues with our government. Luckily, I work for a Board of Education that realizes the importance of trying to establish programs that educate young students to become better citizens, to help them get on a path to graduate, to show them values, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And they've decided that they're going to continue funding this program until Uncle Sam can pick up the bill. But the one thing that I have saw is that I realize that these teachers work extremely hard to try to take care of these kids and get them on the right path. But we're 48th in the nation in pay. And that's a slap in the face. When you think about what the people do in this country, the ones that work, they deserve more. I believe in taking care of the poor. But I'm going to tell you that it seems like right now everybody wants to put all their attention on the poor. We forgot about the people who built this nation. The professional basketball player didn't build this nation. The coal miner built this nation. The person working in the steel mill built this nation. The person that pulls 40 hours a week from payday to payday is the ones who built this nation. And we've got to start looking after them. And that is important. That goes for your first responders, our police officers. If you look across the board around here, everybody is struggling. If there's any place that needs a living wage, it is right here. A person should not have to work 40 hours a week and still have to rely on food stamps to feed their children. A lady at the DMV in Logan County cried to me one day because she says, if it wasn't for your organization giving me shoe vouchers, my child would start school with shoes that would get him made fun of. You think about that. We've sent over 800 children to school with brand new shoes. And if we didn't, imagine being that child having to get off that bus and have the fear in your heart that the first thing that you walk into that building, someone's going to point at you and laugh. But that's reality for every single person in this area. Every single person. And I believe that that is the way it is across every county in the 3rd Congressional District. And I think that has to change. I want to say something about leadership, because I know I've got veterans in this room. We've always been brought up that you never ask a subordinate to do anything that you yourself are not willing to do. And it absolutely sickens me that I've spent my life, my adult life, in uniform. And the one thing that we are left, the one thing that we're number one in, left, because everything else we're not number one in anymore, is our military. And they continue to chip away at it. They cut from all of us.